Extreme Rules. Was it disappointing? No. Why? Because I had no expectations. And when you have no expectations from something, you don't get disappointed. Take that as a lesson in your life, kids, because it's gonna help you in life. And let's talk about it, Extreme Rules in general. Was it good? Yes, it was fine. What about the crowd? It was shitty. We'll talk about that later. So we're starting the review right now, and we're going for it. So let's start about the pre-show. The pre-show match was between Andrade and Almas versus Sin Cara, and this match went on for 7 minutes and 2 seconds. I told you, stats. So after weeks for not using Almas, Sin Cara and Andrade had a fun bout on Tuesday, SmackDown Live on Tuesday. Almas won, so of course we are gonna get a rematch added to this already bloated 5 hours show for no reason story wise. But there's always a but. They had a fun match, working a fun opening stretch, and then Almas taking control of the match. Almas and Vega also hit a tranquilo pose, and then Sin Cara made a comeback. He hit a Bocchirana, but Almas somehow saved him, and Vega distracts Raf, and then double knees and a hammerlock DDT, and then Sin Cara is off. Almas wins, and hope we get rid of the storyline and we continue with Almas momentum. It was fun. I will give it a 3 stars on the Monster rating system, which is my rating system. It is now thing, and it is better than Dave Meltzer rating system. Suck it. So next up, we've got a tables match again in the pre-show between Sanity and New Day, which went on for 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Stats. This was a fun match, and with the crowd behind it, the crowd was really interested in this match because the crowd was behind New Day, and it just started with a brawl and chaos in the ring, and there was some good looking spots in this match. They work over Big E at the start, but by isolating him, but then Woods and Kofi made the save for this match and just went chaotic. At last, Wolf and Eric Young double team and put Kofi through a table. At the Monster rating system, I will give it a 3.5. It was a really good match. I personally very much liked it. I think it was fun. It was very much fun. So it was just 2 matches. Now we're gonna move on to the main roster. So Ronda Rousey was sitting at the ringside showing her tickets that she bought. Of course she bought it. Of course. On the main show, first match was for the Raw Tag Team title between the Deleter of Worlds versus the B Team. As for the prediction, I said the Deleter of Worlds would win. This match went on for 8 minutes and 5 seconds, and so a miracle happened. And the miracle happened in the Pittsburgh shitty streets, as the B Team are the new tag team champs on Raw. Of course, there's not much to say about the match. So at the end, Bo Dallas hit a dripping neck breaker on Matt, and we got ourselves a new champions. This was an okay match. The crowd was invested in this match surprisingly, and personally, I like the B Team, but I think they are transitional champions for the Revival and Authors of Pain to take the title away. At the Monster star ratings, I'll get a 2.25 stars. Write it down. They're going to be a thing. Alright. Next up, we got a segment backstage with Kurt Angle getting a Pittsburgh pop because he is obviously from Pittsburgh. And he revealed that he has been negotiating with Brock Lesnar and says that Lesnar is refusing to return, and then showed up at UFC. He needs to show up on the main roster or he will be stripped of the title, and the crowd goes nuts. The crowd went wild for this announcement, and they didn't went wild for a match. We will talk about that later. Next up, we've got Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin, and this match went for 8 minutes and 22 seconds. A very solid match nonetheless again, but yeah, it never went to another gear. Corbin looked great in this match, but Balor won, so my prediction was wrong, of course. But they are likely to continue it on Raw, which they shouldn't. because SummerSlam is coming and they should have different feuds and which will freshen things up. And I think it will be good for both men. So I give it a 2.75 star in the Monster rating system, which is a fine rating for this match. Next up, we got a backstage segment with Bludgeon Brothers beating the shit out of Team Hell No backstage, and they break Kane's leg with hammer. Finally, the hammer, the mallets came into use. The Bludgeon Brothers were obviously paid off by Kane's political opponent. They were definitely paid by Kane's political opponent, who was also running for mayor. So next up, we've got. As the live women's match between Carmella and Asuka, which went for fucking 5 minutes and 30 seconds, which is bullshit. Why? Because now, my god, this was so bad. It was so bad. It was bullshit. As far as was suspended above the shark cage, and the shark cage was very low. And then Elwood used sometime the keys, sometimes he threw something else. Carmella tried to attack, but Asuka was taking her down, and at last Ellsworth just came out of the cage and was hanging, but the crew member came in and tried to save him. Asuka then started to beat shit out of them and Ellsworth, but then Carmella just shoved Asuka through the cage, and then yep, it's done. Asuka lost again to Carmella, to fucking Carmella. You can say all you want that Carmella is such a good heel, Ellsworth is such good, there's so much momentum. Fuck this. I want a women's wrestling match. I want a good wrestling match. I don't give a shit about a Carmella being a opportunistic heel, because Alexa has the same character and she's doing better than Carmella in this role. I gave it a 0 star in Monster ratings. I could have given it a negative, but of course I don't want to give Asuka a negative star. Bullshit. This was the worst segment of the night, of course. Next up, we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. The match went for 0 minutes and 7 seconds. What happened was Nakamura low blowed Jeff before the match when the ref was handling the title to the crew member. Amazing heel tactics, and also very innovative. And then he hit the Kinshasa, and Nakamura is the new champion. I haven't seen this before. I've of course seen low blows by Nakamura, but I haven't seen this before, that the refs turned his back to give the belt and then suddenly low blow. It was a very good tactic and I loved it. And it was I have no problem with such heel tactics, of course, because Jeff is as over as he was and Nakamura is more over. Whereas in the Asuka Carmella situation, oh my god, don't even make me talk about this. Well, actually I'm talking about this. No one came out more over than they were. Asuka was completely buried. She was buried just as Bayley was buried last year by this kind of same opportunistic heel like Alexa Bliss. And then people will say, oh, Carmella is so good. Carmella is shitty and she deserved to just leave this company. Next up, we got Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match. So Kevin Owens tried to escape the cage, but Braun Strowman took him down and was mocking him to fight him. Kevin did a good fiery comeback though. He hit some super kick on Braun and then hit a frog splash on Braun, but it only did a 1, and then Braun came back with punches and he shoved Kevin on the steel cage, and then Kevin Owens tried to come back again with a bunch of super kicks and a stunner. Braun was down and he tried to escape, but nope, Braun again caught him, but then Kevin again hit a cannonball on Braun and he tied Braun with the rope using the handcuffs and was beating the shit out of Braun. He was beating Braun, but then Braun choke slammed him, and because Kevin went too close to him, and then Kevin tried to escape and was on the top of the cage. Braun just suddenly broke out of the handcuffs and then went on the top and just choke slammed Kevin from the top of the steel cage onto the announce table. Kevin Owens is the MVP. Of course he is. Why not? It was a fun match. I'll give it 3-star ratings, and Kevin is amazing. He literally puts his body on the line for the entertainment of us, and he should be a champion, whether it's Intercontinental Champion or a Universal Champion, of course. Next up, we've got Jeff Hardy icing his cock backstage and saying that he wants Nakamura at SD Live. Next up, we got SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers versus Daniel Bryan and Kane. But Daniel Bryan came out, and now it's a handicap match because Kane was took out by Bludgeon Brothers before the starting of the match backstage, and they worked. It was okay match. The Brian stuff was good, but then came out limping and then hit choke slams on Bludgeon Brothers. But Bludgeon Brothers came back and they hit the Doomsday device like the power bomb and the clothesline on Brian, and they won. It was okay. It was not. I thought this match would be good, but it was not as good as I expected it to be. Uh, well, don't have expectations. You will get disappointed, and I did get disappointed by this match. But next match, I had no expectations for this, but then went very good. Next matchup was Reigns versus Lashley, and it went for 14 minutes and 52 seconds. So I didn't tell you, Braun and Kevin stuff went for 6 minutes 5 seconds stats, and the SD Live Tag Team Championship match went for 8 minutes 17 seconds stats, and now this Reigns and Lashley match went for 14 minutes and 52 seconds, the longest match by far till now. It was fun. It was very good match. Really, this was the best match till now. It was very fun. I gave it a 3.75 star ratings on the Monster rating system. Yeah, these are important. And it was a fun match. They started off with some technical wrestling and all that shit, but then Reigns worked on Lashley, and it was fun. Then it was fun because heel Reigns, when Reigns fights as a heel, it's amazing. And there were some pretty good spots. Reigns tried to hit a Samoan drop on Lashley, but Lashley was a hold on for the ropes. But then Reigns just hit a beautiful looking AA with Bobby landing on the outside. It was fun. It was very good. Bobby Lashley hitting Reigns with the overhead bell to belly suplex on the announce table. But yeah, armed the table, and the table didn't break. Reigns hit a Superman punch on Lashley. Lashley hit the vertical suplex on Reigns. But at last, Lashley hit a spear on Reigns, and Lashley is unofficially the number one contender for the Universal Championship. And I think Lashley will confront Lesnar for the Universal Championship, because I think Lesnar is coming to Raw next week. Otherwise, he will be stripped of the title. And I hope it comes back, because I don't want to see another match between Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley for the Universal Championship. Because if the Brock Lesnar gets stripped of the title, Roman Reigns will get another chance. Alright. So next up we got a match for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey's best friend Natalia was on the corner of Nia Jax, and Mickie James was in the corner of Alexa Bliss. It was another boring match. What can you expect from Carmella's and Alexa Bliss's? It was based on Ronda Rousey. The only good thing about this match was Ronda Rousey coming out and going after Mickie James, which got a pop at last. Alexa Bliss hit a DDT on Nia Jax on the chair, and for the win. Who cares? It was bad stuff. I give it a half star. Next up we got AJ Styles versus Rusev in a fun match. Maybe the best match of the night, I don't know. It was a fun match. Rusev working on the back of AJ Styles, and AJ Styles working on the leg of Rusev. It was a fun match. Rusev looked dominant in it, and there was a finish with the exposed turnbuckles, so Rusev didn't get buried. Yeah, Rusev looked strong in this match, and it furthered the storyline between Aiden English and Rusev's Rusev Day's explosion further in the line. Yeah, it was fun. There were some great spots in this, and at last Rusev hit the exposed turnbuckle. AJ Styles the 450, but then Rusev kicks out, but then AJ Styles took out to Aiden English and then hit a phenomenal forearm on Rusev for the win. Fun match. It was really good. I gave it a 4-star match. It was really fun match. Very good match. Next up we got Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the Iron Man match. This match I was talking about the crowd. I'll tell you what happened. The crowd was not into this match at all. They were chanting for the 10 Like they chant in the Royal Rumble for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They were chanting like this for every minute. When the clock went to 10, WWE took out the clock and they were randomly chanting for that. People say that we want to WWE give you Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler in the main event for the IC Championship, and Roman is not in the main event. Roman is losing. They will give you everything you want, and you still don't give a shit. This is bullshit. And then you expect them to not push Roman and all that stuff when you don't give a shit about your favorite guys, and you want to make yourself over with a clock. Man, this was bad stuff. Now don't expect anything else from WWE. They will give you next 5 pay-per-views with Reigns main eventing, and you have to see this. You have to watch them. Don't complain then. Don't fucking complain then, motherfuckers. Yeah, the match was fine. They didn't even give him this match a chance. And Seth Rollins also posted it on his Twitter about the countdowns and stuff, and he was legitimately pissed off. He was also pissed when the crowd booed the Universal Championship at the match for the Universal Championship. So yeah, let's move on to the match. The first fall came in 4 minutes when Seth Rollins hit a buckle bomb on Ziggler and did the cradle. First fall. Second fall came in just after that when Seth hit blackout, and it was just 7 minutes in, and we've got 2-0. It was intriguing, but the crowd was not into it. Fuck the crowd. Fuck Pittsburgh, motherfuckers. Then we got the third fall because Drew attacked Seth, and it was 3-0 because of disqualification. But then it was a very good tactic actually. Why? Because it furthered storyline. Drew is the main reason why Dolph is champion. Drew is the main reason around which the IC Championship is running around. Drew will be the champion at SummerSlam, I think. It was fun. It was really fun. And then Drew hit a Claymore. First fall for Ziggler. Then Rollins came back. Super kick. Second fall for Ziggler. Then Seth Rollins again stood up. Zigzag. Third fall for Ziggler. 3-3. Drew McIntyre did his job. Next up we've got another Seth Rollins coming back with Sling Blade and stuff, and then he was going for the suicide dive, but Ziggler went for the pin, and 4-3. We got now 4-3 with Ziggler leading. Then we got the catapult and the pin, and Rollins just went over Ziggler, and we've not 4-4. But then only 2 minutes were left in this match, and Seth Rollins hit a sharpshooter, but the time passed out. Kurt Angle came back and he said that this match will continue like Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. But then Drew McIntyre distracted Rollins and zigzag. We've got Dolph Ziggler retained, and we still got the champion. This pay-per-view was good, but man, that crowd made me pissed, and that crowd made everyone pissed. Seriously, man, if you want the stuff, watch it. Don't bullshit. You say that you do that kind of stuff because Roman is in the main event. Now Seth was on the main event, and you made a clock more over than him. Fuck you all.